today's date is the 20th of June 2023, and we are going to talk about something called estimating or estimations. Okay, yesterday we did rounding off, rounding up, and then we also look at significant figures. So we are going to just add a little bit of things to it, okay? And I'll show you a few examples. By what I mean, doing some number questions may take forever without a calculator. So for instance, as I said in one of the videos, we didn't used to have calculators as students. So we're taught estimations, and then we use the 4-figure tables. So if you do the estimation, you have a figure in your head. So when you do use the 4-figure table, for instance, if you use an estimation and you are looking at a number like 40, and then you use the 4-figure table and you get a number like 75, and you realize that the gap is too wide, so maybe you use the 4-figure table wrongly. So we were taught that so that with this thing, and it can also happen, you might use the calculator wrongly or put in a different digit, and it will give you a different answer. So by estimating, you know, it should be approximately a value. Let me give this simple example. Assuming you went to the shop and you are buying an item that costs $3.99, and you pick 20 of those. Okay, $3.99 is approximately £4. So 10 of those will be £40. 20 of those will be £80. So you should pay 80. You should be looking at £80 to pay, but because of it's $3.99, it should be under £80. Okay, so if the till tells you are supposed to pay £120, then something should click. You shouldn't pay and go and say to yourself, how come I'm paying this figure? You use estimation to make sure that you are paying the right value. So it's the same principle here. So for instance, if you have this huge sums like 11.74381 times 21.54972, just looking at that, the 11 parts, I can make it 10, and then the 21 part, I can make it 20. So I'm rounding down or rounding off. So 10 times 20 should give me approximately 210. Okay, this part here, 3.7, and if I round it to one decimal place, it will give me like £3. This will be 42. So this will be 42 times 3. And I know 42 times 2 is 84. Okay, times plus another 42. So I'll be getting a value about 126, thereabout, or 125. Assuming I didn't have a calculator, these are the figures I'll be looking at. Look at this number. 36 is nearer to 40 and 8 is nearer to 10. So these two figures, if I add them, I should be getting approximately 40, 36 and 10. So about 46, or 40 and 8. So about 44. Okay. 39, 11. So I'll make this 40 and I'll make that 10. So 40 minus 10 will give me 30. So I should be looking at the figure. My answer shouldn't, if I use a calculator, these are the numbers I should be expecting. A little bit, these numbers are a bit lower because I'm rounding down. So if I use the calculator and I put in the right figures, it should give me the right answer in that region. So all I'm doing is estimating. Look at this figure, it's 81, but I'll make it 80, and 39, I'll make it 40. So if I divide 80 by 40, I should be getting around 2. So the calculator figure should be 2. So if I get something like 20, I know that I haven't put in the right figures, because these are decimal places and at times you can be muddled with numbers, so you might not put in the right figures. But assuming I'm using a calculator, I should be expecting 2 for this, the last one here. But if I didn't get that, then something should be telling me maybe you didn't put in the right figures. Okay, so this is the useful part of estimation, and if you are good at it, you can even forecast the answer when you are doing an exam. So if you are doing an exam, you can forecast the answer and say that my answer should be giving me this. So if you calculate, you can, and then you didn't get the answer in that region, then you can go back and say and look at it and maybe see where you get it wrong. They can quickly correct it before you give your exam paper out. So maybe instead of losing 2 marks there, that 2 marks can put you into a higher grade. Okay, because at times people lose A star or A or C just by a mark or 2. Sometimes the marks people get is because of losing 1 mark here, 1 mark there. But if you know how to use estimation to your advantage, you can use it to see the answer, forecast your answer, or you can also use it to quickly help you do quick sums. And in day life, I've just told you, you go to the till and you pick a few items. If you estimate, you pick 10 items and you've estimated it, you should be paying £20 and they're asking you for £40. Something should click and you should say that and then you should go over the receipt and see where you went wrong. Okay, some people don't have that habit, but it's a habit I'll encourage you to have. Okay, so we estimate and then we use the calculator to find the answer later, as I said. So you can round off to 1 decimal place, or you can round off to significant figures, which is easier. So for instance, if you have 11.7, if you calculate 12, maybe you are not good, so you can use a 10. And if you have 80 point something, or you have 83, you can use 80. Okay, so you are rounding off, so your answer might be a little bit smaller. okay, or a little bit above. But at the end of the day, it helps you know that you are in the region of that value that you want. Okay, so that is what I'm just trying to show you here. So today, this is what we are looking at. So look at this example. I've brought an example here. 11.774329 times 7.613572. So if you are round off, you get approximately. We show the symbol for approximation. Look at mathematical symbols we did earlier. Okay, everything we've been doing is going to help us solve questions. Okay, it's not fair for me to just start solving questions with you when I know that some of you don't even understand the concept that we are dealing with. I wouldn't engage you, but if you start systematically watching all the videos I started from the beginning, by the time you've watched them for 3 months, you should be able to start answering some questions to get to a minimum of C with everything you've learned from school. Okay, getting C in maths is not that difficult. You can do it, but I'm just trying to give you the concept, okay, so that with everything you can see where you can use those things to help you. So look at this figure now that we have seen. 11.744329 times 7.613572. If I round off this 11.7 etc. here, I'm using it. I'll use 10. 7.6. I'm going to round it off to 8. So I should be getting the figure in the region of 80, because 10 times 8 is 80. This is easier to solve in my head using times table. But the actual calculator number gives me 89.4162944. You can check it using a calculator. In our time, they will say that use the 4-figure table, so you may have to use it, or maybe you have to do the long division, which will take you forever. But these are some of the ridiculous things we used to do in the 80s. So, but what I'm trying to tell you is it is easier now. So if you use the calculator, you are getting that. So because I've rounded down, my figure is a bit less. But assuming I didn't round down, I might be in a mad thinking, is it right or wrong? So assuming the calculator gave me 840 something, and then I know that maybe I didn't put in the figure right, or I didn't put in the right decimal place. Okay, I hope I'm clear on that. Then we want to quickly look at standard form. This is converting numbers into the powers of 10 and making it easier. So for instance, they use this normally in science, and assuming you said 8,000, it didn't really mean anything. But if you say 8.0 times 10 to the power 3, then it makes sense, especially in physics. Okay, so the scientists normally use that to help them. So normally maths goes with physics and chemistry. Okay, but if you are doing a lower a foundation paper, you might not you might need it to answer questions, but maybe you might need it in real life, but apart from that, you might not use it much, but it's good you know it. Okay, so we used to write these numbers as a product of decimals multiplied by the power of 10. So for instance, 2100 will be 2.1 times 10 to the power 3. Okay, how did I get that? You remember we said if you have a whole number, a number like this, the decimal is at the end of the number. So you have 2001, 2100.0, but we don't do that. We don't write it that way. So if the decimal is here, you move it 1, 2, 3. So now you have the decimal here, 2.1. Because you went 3 jumps, 10 to the power 3. Okay. If it's multiplying, then the powers will be positive. But if you are you have a decimal, then the powers will be negative. I'll show you that in a bit. Okay, 4.480 equals to 4.8. So the first two significant figures, 4.8, so 1, 2. So 4.8, we did 2 jumps times 10 to the power 2. 10 to the power 2 is 100. 4.8 times 100 will give you 480. Hope I'm clear on that. Let's do another example. 14,800. So 14,800. So I want the decimal to come between 1 and 4. So I write 1.48. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have 1.48 times 10 to the power 4. Because I had to move 1, 2, 3, and 4. 17,900. So 1.79. That will be the first part. Okay, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So standard form, that is what we are doing. So 1.79 times 10 to the power 4, because 1, 2, 3, 4. So to move the decimal from the end of the number to the first two numbers that you have, you need to jump 4 steps. Okay, so it will be times 10 to the power 4. Now these are whole numbers greater than 1. Okay, so we should expect positive powers of 10. Now when you are using decimals, you would know that decimals are always less than 1. So you have to expect negative powers of 10. So look at this, 0.051. So the first, the decimal should be between 5 and 1. So 5.1, which is here, okay, times 10 to the power 1, 2 minus 2. The next example, 0.0762. So the decimal should be between 7 and 6. So 7.62 times 1, 2, 3, 10 to the power minus 3. What I want you to take away from today's lesson is the estimation part. So the next time you go to the shop, look at a value, assuming you picked, try with small things, assuming you pick 2 items worth 199. So 199, that would be around £2 each. So you should pay up to £4, no more than that. So if you start doing two items, then do 3, then do 4, then do 5. Use these things in real life so that when you sit behind the exam paper, it will make more sense to you. Okay. Always one digit after the decimal, powers of 10. Okay, so always look at the number, look at the next significant figure as we did yesterday. Okay, so it should be between the first two significant figures. Okay, if it is 0, then it will be 2.0 times. So if you have 2,000, it will be 2.0 times 10 to the power 3. Okay, go and get some figures of your own as I encourage you, and try it yourself. If it is positive, so when it is positive powers, it means it is a whole number, and if it's a negative, then it's like a decimal or something. Okay, so if the figure is greater than 1 above, you should get a positive. Okay, so 1 is like 10, should be 1.0 times 10 to the power 1. Okay, and if it's like 0.0056, then you are going to get something, the 5.6 times 10 to the power minus. Okay, I hope I've made some sense to you and I've cleared some things for you today. Have a look, watch it. It's free anyway. Okay, so watch it. If you have to pause it. Watch over again till you understand the concept, because you are going to use all this to start solving questions. Okay, and those times you should be able to understand all this, because I might not go over it. Okay, thank you for watching today, and I'll see you next lesson.